All right. Hello, everybody. So I titled this The Ego is the Matrix. Now, the more I learn, the more I like to share with you. So I want to talk about exactly the ego being the matrix. Now, some people just only call the ego when they say, oh, you have an ego. Well, here's the thing everybody has an ego. The ego is just not somebody who has pride. The ego is not just somebody who has an attitude problem or who don't want to admit they're wrong or don't want to say excuse me. That's not the ego. Those are characteristics of the ego, but that's not the ego in its entirety. The ego is things that you've learned, like basically a program, like a computer program that you've learned from growing up in childhood, from your household to your community to all of your surroundings. And it actually is who you are based on your outward world. So when people say that people are a result of their community or a result of how their parents raised them or a result of how, whatever, external conditions are going on, all of that is made up of the ego, and that's including fear of lack, fear of not having enough money, struggling, having to hustle to pay bills. All of that, all of that is involved in the ego. Any belief, I'm gonna say it like this: any belief really or attachment to the external world, you best believe that the ego is involved, okay? Because I said before that the external world is like a controlled hallucination, and really it's the inward part of us that's controlling everything. And what we're looking at on the outside is like a projection screen. We're looking at a movie theater. Well, not a movie theater, we're looking at a movie, okay? And our five senses causes us to feel though that everything that we see is real on the external world. So that is basically all the ego, all of the attachments we have to what we see with our five senses in the external world is the ego. So it's not just necessarily bad, like, oh, this person has too much pride, oh, this person had a bad attitude, oh, this person can't say they're sorry. No, those are just some qualities of the ego. But all in all, the ego cannot be positive. The ego is negative, no matter if it's a positive person, negative person. And the reason why the ego is negative is because it does not want you to get to your true, authentic self. The ego is going to fight you. And then get to my title, why I call it the ego is the matrix. When people say get out the matrix, oh, the matrix, the matrix, the matrix, they think it's just about not working a 9 to 5 job or not living in the city, living in off grid. Some people think if they live off grid in tiny homes, you're outside the matrix. Well, you are somewhat out of the matrix of hustle and bustle. So like say if you lived in a very crowded city where everybody's in a rush, and then you move to a very country area where people are more relaxed, where you moved out of a matrix where people feel like they have to rush to get things going on, to an area where you get to relax and enjoy life more. But any attachment to the external world is the matrix. That's the ego. The ego is what makes you think that everything is real. The ego is doesn't want to let go. The ego doesn't want to let go of the I. Okay, because when we get back to our true self, we are, our authentic self. There is no real identity there. Our identity is the ego as well. Now, that's not to say once you really get back to your authentic self and get to know your authentic self, which is what I'm on the process of doing, does not mean that you have to walk around sounding crazy and talking about yourself in third person. Okay, because you still have to be relatable. But I'm saying pure awareness, and awareness that there is more to what you see. And there's more to you as being an I. The whole I thing, that is the ego. That is the ego. I got to do this. I have to do that. I have to do this. I have to. All of the I's is an attachment to the external world, which is fine because we chose this. We chose this. I know that people don't know that we chose it, but yeah, we chose it before we came. Um, and so, but and I, yes. So you want to be relatable, and so even with the pure awareness of a bigger self, a more authentic, divine self, of course you're going to still say I to other people because you don't want to talk in third person and sound crazy and be completely unrelatable and not able to talk to anybody else. So yes, so I'm not saying drop it completely because you still want nice things. Yeah, with the pure awareness, I would still like a nice get on a nice yacht. With the pure awareness, I would still like to live as a billionaire. But the attachment to the external world is what needs to decrease significantly. Why? Because it's not real and you can't take it with you. You know how people say you can't take these things with you when you die? It's not real. It's literally our five senses give us the illusion that all of this stuff is real, but it's really not. Okay, and I know that's a little bit hard to take in. Even if even if you get it, it's hard for the mind to understand. The mind can never understand. The mind is the matrix. The ego is the matrix. The mind is the matrix. Okay. And I want to get on something else real quick. Um, this young lady, I keep seeing her recommendations, even though I never click on her videos, but that's just how popular her videos are getting. That one video, I said that it was a title about the tragedy of some black woman. I think she has blondish hair that was killed by a white man. That video has over 100 and something views in like 4 days. Excuse me, 100 and something thousand views in 4 days. And then I just saw a recommendation of her online talking about the hypocrisy of black women swirling. You know what? It is time to consider these people. Um, I saw a vision before I get on her because it's not about her. She is an ego. What she is a PDF file. It's time to look at these folks as what it really is. And I know it's going to be hard for other people to accept this message because I had to really work hard just to get to this point of my awareness of my revelation. I had to really work hard on dissolving my ego. Ego is in having a bad attitude. People like to reduce it to that, or having or conceited. Some people want to call it conceited. People want to reduce it to that, but the ego is just um, because of our five senses give us this illusion of the outside world. We have become attached to it, and we have certain emotions. And and another thing is we are, we are. A lot of people are, whatever they learn in the household and what their culture teaches them is kind of who they are. So that's also made up in the ego as well. So what I'm saying is that it's just best from what I'm seeing. I'm learning to see this lady as an ego, as a PDF file. None of it is real. Okay. Somebody said that the ego is a PDF file. It is. It's like a computer. It's like a computer. It's a programming. Okay. Um, but I had during the meditation, I had like a little, I saw like a scene. I saw like I had a little vision, right? And I was kind of standing, I was kind of looking, and I saw these big bubbles passing by, but they were bubbles that were joined together and huge, not the bubbles that you blow out the little, the little bubbles, not like that where they were all separate and flying all over the place. I'm talking about bubbles, but look like they were together and walking together, but they look like big bubbles. And then I tried to figure out what are all those big bubbles I see. They almost look like they're people, but they're bubbles. Okay. And I happened, I say 2, 3 days later, I saw this guy's video talking about busting the ego's bubble. The ego is like a big bubble that you create around yourself based on your life, based on your life and all your beliefs, and it's a big bubble made up of the ego. I said that is what I saw because I knew those bubbles that was joined together walking along. I knew they were people, even though they didn't look like people. Those were egos. Okay. And so I say that to say, when I call the ego the matrix, I say it's the matrix because the madness that I see online, and especially with a lot of these, not because it's a huge thing going on, because my channel is for Black women, and because I'm seeing this big thing going on with a lot of these pro-Black women wanting to attack other Black women who expand their options. That's why I call this ego called the matrix. It's really, I want to say it's like not even real. It looks real because we are still attached to the external world. But what these ladies are doing is literally nothing to put your energy on. And I know that's going to be hard to accept. I know that's going to be hard to accept because it seems so real. But when I saw this lady talking about the hypocrisy of Black women swirling, I don't know how happy she is if she is in a relationship with a man or Black man. I'm not sure how happy she is because she does put a lot of attention on Black women who swirl. She does put a lot of her attention on that. So I'm not sure how happy she is if she is with a man, okay? But I say that to say, because I'm not going to, get on her too bad. It's all a game. So that's how I want to end this. The ego is the matrix. The stuff that we see online that is so annoying, it really is all a game. And it's a game that our own egos are playing with us to make us feel like all of this stuff is really real. And it's taken us off of what's most important is getting to know our authentic self. I say let these women continue to talk about swirling until they blue in the face. They can eat their heart out with fussing about swirlers all day long. Let them eat their heart out, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're in a game. It is all a game. It's not really real. And it's all a distraction, especially the ones that's annoying like that. It's a distraction to keep you from really getting to see what is real, which is the person that is really you outside of your five senses, which is the true divine self. Okay. And with that said, I'll talk to you later. I sure hope I made myself